Grit and Flow, the first company that serves voters, and in so doing establishes secure government data standards and practices. We need a new platform to discuss candidates running for office. To do that, we need to agree on a common set of facts. Grit and Flow is that platform. Education is the key. Every American deserves an equal vote, but in some states, access to voting is becoming less and less equal. I'd like to encourage you to watch the John Oliver Show. Google John Oliver voting and get ready for a chuckle or two as well. The problem. A large percentage of voters are uneducated regarding the qualifications and past performance of candidates. There is a dearth of trusted information available to voters, leaving them confused, angry, and apathetic. Mainstream media is trusted only a little or not at all by 70% of voters in one recent study. There's a lack of data integrity within voter databases. Many have been purged and even compromised. There's no data transfer architecture which emphasizes security. Government institutions are unable to solve these issues. For the first time in decades, voters in nearly half the country will find it harder to cast a ballot in the upcoming elections. Within 24 hours of the Supreme Court's decision to strike down the law requiring 9 states to submit voting law changes to the federal government for pre-clearance, 5 were already moving ahead with voter ID laws, some of which had already been rejected as discriminatory under the Voting Rights Act. For the first time in decades, voters in nearly half the country will find it harder to cast a ballot in upcoming elections. Our country is in the middle of a moral crisis. How do we clarify candidate qualifications and bring attention to voter records, funding, and years of service? How do we standardize and democratize voter information? How do we track infringements on voter rights? The media is biased and government isn't capable of this type of innovation. Let's use simplification, standardization, education, and maybe a little humor to inform voters. We need an app for voters. We will simplify voter access to information within the United States. We will increase the percentage of millennials and minorities who vote by greater than 25%, and define business processes and data standards through standardized APIs. The U.S. needs more citizens to participate in governance and service. Voters need access to reliable information to understand the voting process and their choices. This is a new model. Nothing like it exists. Notifications of when elections will occur, easy to find voting hours and locations, and candidate actual voting records. A simple user interface that identifies the key issues. Integration with district identification tools, matching your address to map districts. There was even recently a breach in December of 2015 where 191 million records were compromised, put online on the internet for access by anyone. Let's take a look at the app. The app will include candidate information, including voting record, attendance, PAC and lobby affiliations, which will be integrated with a web plugin developed by a 17-year-old that ties lobby dollars to candidates, boards they serve on, committees and appointments, and criminal records. Here's an example of the menu. Users will choose their district, they can view their ballot, take a look at the candidate litmus test, prepare for how their ballot will look when they vote, and view district voting information including hours, locations, and any changes. Here's an example, a high-level view of what the architecture will look like, including the user interfaces and APIs, sources of data, some public, Why do we want to do this? I love my country, I love my planet, and I love my son. I refuse to accept the current state of political dysfunction as the new normal. An investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Thank you for your time.